Let's now move back to earnings, and we've got Mr. Ashish Gaikwad, MD at Praj Industries, joining another show to talk about how their numbers have been. Mr. Gaikwad, great to have you today on ET Now, and I was just going through your earnings, your order intake for this quarter has slowed down substantially now to almost up 800 crore rupees from the earlier 1,000 plus at the end of the last quarter. Tell me, are tariff-related concerns weighing heavy on the order bookings in the global market? What is it?
Yeah, sure. I think you're right. And first of all, good morning and thanks for having me on your show. It is a challenging time right now when it comes to the quarter's results. There are two main reasons, I would say. The first one is, of course, we know that the EBP 20 program, which is 20% blending of ethanol into gasoline or petrol, has been very successful and it has been completed way ahead of the schedule. And so, of course, what that means is that in the country, the capacity buildup for ethanol, which is one of our big businesses, is already exceeding the demand that exists in the market. So it's going to take some time before that demand picks up. And of course, that has affected our results. The second part, as you rightly mentioned, is about not just the tariffs, but the uncertainty in tariffs, which is weighing more. And since it changed a few times and it's still in the flight in terms of stabilizing, that has had an impact on our order bookings and therefore also some of the projects that have slowed down. So those, I would say, are the two major ones that have affected our top line.
So tell me what happens from here onward, because, like you've given us a picture on what's happening with the global markets as well as domestic. Any hint of a revival or expected revival in order intakes and smooth execution? Would you have any timeline just now?
Sure, Aisha. So I would like to mention a few points why we are still cautiously optimistic about it. First of all, we believe that there are discussions already in the play when it comes to additional blending mandates for ethanol, and that will certainly give an impetus. The other vector that will play on ethanol market and its more capacity addition will be the flex fuel vehicles and their introduction in the Indian market. Even those vehicles, I'm told, are ready to be launched, and once they come in, that will obviously positively impact ethanol. All of that will certainly, give a positive push to our domestic ethanol business. But apart from that, it's not just about ethanol for Praj. We are also working on the CBG or compressed biogas, and we expect that even that market, while it is nascent currently, will pick up over time. We also are working on sustainable aviation fuel, and that's going to be another, biofuel that will start giving us some revenues. But all of these are not going to be quick things. They are going to take some time, and for, let's say, the current quarter, we will have to sit through some of these pains that we have seen in the first quarter, and we will start picking up, the revenues from there onwards.
But Ashish, the markets dislikes uncertainty, I should say. It likes definitive timelines and numbers. So tell me, what does it spell into when it comes to your order inflow guidance? What would it be for the full year? 3,500, upper, lower?
I wish I had a crystal ball, Aisha, but I don't. And you know it as much as I do that there are some uncertainties at this point in time, but we remain quite confident in terms of the settlement of these tariffs. And while we do that, there are other markets that we can explore for our exports. It could be Latin America, where we have a good pipeline, also Europe, where we have favorable conditions as well. So we will continue to explore those, and we believe that while the order bookings right now is not looking good, but it'll improve possibly post third quarter of this fiscal.
Gaikwad, since you've been flagging off this tariff concern and that has been a headwind for a lot of these earnings that we've seen in the quarter gone by, help us understand if this tariff were to stay at this 50% amount that we're hearing right now, how much of that have you penciled in terms of impact on your top line or bottom line? Have you provisioned against any of it?
No, Snehi, we have not provisioned it. I think our current contracts, we may not get any impact at all as far as our current anticipation goes. For the future contracts, we will have to just negotiate and look at our costs one more time, look at not just our tariffs in isolation, but because it is an international market, we'll have to benchmark it against the similar next best alternatives for our customers. So it's going to be relative. It's not going to be, absolute in terms of that 50+% tariff that you mentioned. So while you ask that question, we are working on that because there is fluidity and uncertainty right now. Making exact judgments is not going to be very easy or possible.
Completely get that, Ashish. But that question, I guess, rose from the fact that as if now your exports contribute to 39% of your revenues and you yourself wanted to, take it up higher all the way to 50% by FY30. So just wanting to understand what are the other avenues when you talk about exports in specific? What are the other markets that you could explore?
Sure. And yes, I think we are still not giving up on the exports. Right now, the headlines are completely sort of dominated by the US tariffs. But there are other markets, as I mentioned. We can see the ethanol blending mandates coming up, and the government's really seriously looking at using ethanol to be blended into other fuels, and also planning biofuels in Latin America. There are multiple countries where Praj has presence and has references which are already working, and we would certainly like to leverage that. That is one region that we are quite hopeful about. The second region that we are working on is Europe. Again, there the demand for biofuels is expected to grow both in terms of the sustainable aviation fuel related projects and also some of the other biofuels that will be mandated. And so we would like to create these new markets and possibly balance the dependence between what we have on the US versus these new markets that we are working.
Lastly, Mr. Gaikwad, since for now we are seeing that majority of your contribution is coming in from the bioenergy space, 26% contribution from engineering and high purity as well, contributing in double digit. Going ahead, with a lot of these factors at play, challenging times in Q1, order expected to inch up from Q3, how do you see this mix shaping up?
Well, of course, biofuels remains to be a dominant business for us. And when we say biofuels, if you take a look at the historical numbers for Praj, it was essentially dominated by one molecule or one product called ethanol. But of course, we are now going with more than one in terms of biofuels. So our biofuels portfolio is ethanol, but also the compressed biogas. We are also talking about sustainable aviation fuel. And in the R&D, we are working on other molecules that will augment our overall portfolio. So if you look at the past, it was dominated by ethanol, as I said. But if you look at the future, then there will be opportunities in these new biofuels that we have a technology for. So that is one. Of course, engineering is something which is still very interesting for us because if you divide our exports business and especially to the US, the capital goods attract that 50% tariff we mentioned, but the services still don't. And maybe there is an opportunity that we would like to explore a little bit more.
Mr. Gaikwad, with this, we let you go on that. Thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking with us this morning, and all the very best for the upcoming earnings. But time now to slip